Hackers are getting more and more sophisticated each and every year. And if you're not careful, they're going to give you a miserable time on the internet. Are you doing everything you can to protect yourself online? NordVPN software allows me to safely browse the internet without being traced. NordVPN is now more than just a VPN provider. They have introduced threat protection, giving you even more comprehensive security against cyber threats. It blocks trackers, it stops malicious ads, and it steers you away from harmful websites and files. Enjoy a safer and more private internet. NordVPN will continue to hide your location, encrypt your data, and one account you sign up for can secure 6 devices. You can sign up to NordVPN now risk-free on a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Just go to nordvpn.com/football terrace and give yourself real peace of mind when online. What we can even do is give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So get yourself signed up now and enjoy the rest of the NordVPN Top 6 show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Football Terrace. The NordVPN Top 6 show is back. It's deadline day. Man United play Leicester as well. Lots to talk about. I've got an amazing panel here, but I need you, the viewers, to smash the like button first of all. Make sure you're subscribing. And of course, when you're done watching the stream today, click on the link in the description below or live comment section and go check out the brilliant offers at NordVPN. Afternoon, everyone. How are we all doing? We good?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, of course.
Tom there, Arthur Melo coming in, which we're obviously going to talk about on the show later. We are going to touch Liverpool. We're going to touch on Chelsea. We're going to talk about the best striker in the league since I honestly think since Thierry Henry. And we're talking about Mr. Haaland there. Arsenal's 5-5. We're going to preview the weekend's game, Man United versus Arsenal. Loads to come on tonight's show. Any questions that you've got, feel free to send them in. But I did want to start. With Arsenal, to be honest, in terms of the transfer window, because obviously a big story circulating today. Douglas Luiz is pushing to join Arsenal. Arsenal want him. A second bid has already gone in of around £25 million. There are reports now that Aston Villa want as much as £40 million for this player, but it does feel like it's a deal that's going to be done soon. First question, Jess, as an Arsenal fan, you happy with that business? Is it good business for Arsenal at this stage of the window?
Yeah, we desperately need a CDM. Like, we need a defensive midfielder. Both of them are injured, Elneny and Thomas Partey. So this is something that definitely needs to be done. I think it also expedites the need to maybe not move on from Thomas Partey, but have somebody there waiting because he can't be relied upon. So I do think that this is something that Arsenal have wanted to do. As much as I know people are, it's a panic buy, it is something that's being done based on an emergency. But we've actually looked at Douglas Luiz several times before. And it's a player that Mikel Arteta really likes and has also worked with before. So I feel a lot better. It's not just some random player that they just plucked out of the sky. It's somebody that they've been looking at. But Aston Villa are tough negotiators, and it's going to be a difficult deal to get done because they don't really want to sell him. And I get that. But Arsenal need to do what's required to bring in a central defensive midfielder. Like, technically, they probably should have already address this. It's not like we haven't known about Thomas Partey's injuries, and really Elneny should have never been re-signed. We should have already replaced this player, but it's happening now. So hopefully we can get it done. I think Douglas Luiz is a good player. Obviously he doesn't really shine in the Aston Villa team, but like nobody really does. They're crap. So it's a tough one to really look at and say, like, does he really improve you? But he definitely keeps up the kind of like floor of the team, so if somebody goes down, he's ready to step in. So I like the signing. I think it's all right.
I want to ask the panel this. Do the panel believe, I said on the stream earlier that this would definitely get sold as a non-panic buy, but does anybody think Arsenal are panicking with this signing, or does it represent good business in your opinion?
No, look, they're trying to recreate like Brazil. You obviously have Nelly there. You have J9 there. And now if you now bring in your boy, Douglas Luiz. It's like you're creating a nice Brazilian continuous, like, because he's a good player. You always want to just boast your squad and bring in that quality. So, like, I think it makes sense. It completely makes sense. I mean, like, panic buying. There's some other clubs that are doing some panic buying that will actually probably get into, man. But for Arsenal, I mean, it makes sense. Look, Arsenal look good, and you put Luiz in there, who I think is obviously one of the better guys for Villa. Arsenal look all right, not from a good signing, man.
I agree. I feel like where it is with Douglas Luiz. It is, and it isn't a panic buy. The panic buy is not really a panic. Well, panic all stations ago with the DM situation with it being off, but at the same time they couldn't. I never thought of this. This changes their whole midfield. Now, Partey for me is not a DM. He can play centre mid now. You got Douglas Luiz as a starting DM for me, Partey, and then Odegaard. Now that's a very good free. Someone that can dictate play for them a little bit more. H obviously touched up on obviously the Brazilian contingency. That is a fantastic buy. Especially for 25 million. That's someone I wanted at Manchester United about a year ago. And if they're gonna get them for 25 million, that's a steal. I can't lie, that's extremely good business. And yeah, good on Arsenal, I suppose, right? Like that's all you can really say. Like Villa, I don't know why he's out of favour over Kamara. I think Douglas Luiz is a bit better than Kamara, if I'm being honest.
No, but I think that's the thing that's actually, because even when I first saw it, I was about to say, like, oh, no chance happens because Villa are not doing too well. This is one of your better players, so there's no chance that they'll allow him to go if you can't get a replacement because it's too late. But so if they allow him to go, I'm like, bro, Gerard, wait, what the hell are you smoking? It's like you need all the good quality players that you need. So why the hell are you going to allow this guy to go and not get a replacement? Because I'm sure there are not that many players at Villa who are better than Douglas Luiz. So that's strange.
Well, they're signing Dendoncker, and I think that's significant. I know he's not a DM, but you don't need Kamara and Douglas Luiz. They're very similar. So I think they'll budge eventually. Like, I think it'll go all the way down to the wire. I think we'll have to give them a little bit more. But the significant part of it really is that, like, Douglas Luiz is pushing for it. And so, like, when players start to agitate badly and they're desperate to go, like, it makes it a lot easier. And I just can't imagine in what business person at Villa would say it's a good idea to have a player leave for free instead of getting 25, 30 million for him now. I just feel like that makes zero business sense whatsoever. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I would like to see him at Arsenal. I have nothing to really complain about except for the fact that I feel like we should have probably done this at the beginning of the window and El Neni should have never been re-signed. I don't know who said that was a good idea, but it wasn't.
I mean, I'd have had him at Liverpool. Over Arthur, I'd have had him at Liverpool in a heartbeat. I think he's got a lot of quality. He's still young. He's got that Prem experience. He's got that ability to help Arsenal out this season. I think you've got to do it for your price more so than Aston Villa's, because I think he's moved into the last year of his contract or something. So the ball's really in Arsenal and Douglas Luiz's court. It depends on whether Aston Villa want to make the better financial decision or the better footballing decision. But even then, like we've been saying, he's out of favour. He can't get into that Aston Villa team, which isn't exactly doing great. So I think a move is best for all parties. Villa are able to recoup a decent amount of money. Arsenal get a DM who not only will have a good impact now while they've got their injury problems, but even when Partey comes back, you've got someone there who can challenge Granit Xhaka for his starting spot and keep that competition for places and keep that level high in that midfield, which is, as I know now, the most important part of the team, it seems.
I mean, yeah, and it does feel, I mean, there's always these rumours going around. I mean, Arteta is trying to create like a mini city, isn't he? Like it's, he's obviously, he knows these players. He would have known these players. I'm sure he obviously crossed paths back in 2017, 18. I'm sure Arteta was there at that point. What's your take on this signing? Good, bad? Does it improve what Arsenal have got? Does it give them that depth that they're looking for?
I think he's a good signing. I did like him when he came to City. The only reason why he didn't stay at City was because of a visa. City didn't get rid of him because he wasn't good enough. It was just that we could not get a visa. I think we couldn't prove that he would play enough minutes or whatever it is. So he had to move on and then he went to Villa. But I think he's done well at Villa. He's a good player. At one point I was saying we should get him back, before we sorted our problems out. But yeah, I think, I just think it's a good signing for them. Everyone always says it's a panic buy on the last day, but Arteta, yes, he didn't play for City, but he was still there training. So he has worked with him, even though they've not played games, for City. But yeah, I think it's a good signing. He's Prem proven. There's not going to be that much of a... You've seen how quickly Zinchenko and Jesus have just slotted into Arsenal. So I think it'll be the same for him. And yeah, Villa don't look like they're going anywhere. So it's a good move for the player as well. So not too bad. If it's anything over 20 million, I think City get a cut. So that's why Villa are probably pushing the price up so that they get more money. So I think that's why the price is going higher. Because I think it's something like 25% or 20% City get.
It's 20% on anything over 15 million. So,
so they'll want more money to compensate for that, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they're saying it's going to have to be something probably around 35. And right now we're at 25. So we'll see if Arsenal actually want to do it or not. But yeah.
I get that. And part of what we're doing tonight on the show, so viewers know as well, we are going to kind of be looking and taking a stop check on and rating the window of teams. And we're kind of on Arsenal first, and we'll do that. We're coming to Chelsea on the show next and Liverpool. And we're going to talk. I've got a lot to say about Tottenham and the most overrated window in the history of, for me, the most overrated window in the history of Premier League football. By the way people speak about it. But Arsenal's, of course, has been pretty good. Before we go on to that, I just want to mention to a few people about our sponsors, NordVPN, today. So yes, they help protect you against hackers. Yes, they help protect your data from being sold to companies. It's a better and safer way to use the internet, absolutely. But there are some really key benefits to this as well, ones that I've been talking to them about that I've now started utilizing. So firstly, 3 o'clock games in the Premier League. Due to NordVPN, you can sign up to television packages that you stream on your devices from the States and other parts of the world, completely legally via the VPN, so you can get 3 o'clock games. You can actually, I'm going to say this, it's a much cheaper option than the UK broadcasting options as well. Some of the nations, you can get some games if you do enough searching, especially in some of the South American countries and Asian countries. If you don't mind the international commentary, from as little as around 80 to 90 pence per game. So get yourself signed up to the VPN provider. There's so many benefits to it, and getting the 3 o'clock games and getting cheaper access legally, by the way. So not illegal streams, cheaper access legally to streams is important. Plus, I know a lot of you moan about the adverts on YouTube. Let me tell you this. I've now done this. YouTube Premium is around $11.99 a month. So that way you get ad-free, you can download shows. But $11.99 is a lot of money when you consider how much Netflix costs and all the other kind of streaming apps as well. What I've done is I switched my VPN provider with Nord over to Argentina when I'm using YouTube. In Argentina, YouTube Premium per month is 89p. So now I can watch all my YouTube videos on my device, on up to 6 devices, ad-free. I can download if I'm going onto a train. Get that done now. So sign up to NordVPN, and there's many, many benefits out there for you as well. So go and get yourself signed up. Scan the QR code that's just above my head, or click on the link in our description below. You can get a 2-year plan with big discounts, and we'll give you 4 months free, and you get a 30-day money back guarantee with it as well. But I wanted to ask you all, how good has Arsenal's window been in your opinion? Have they had a successful window by sort of top team standards?
Well, not as good as NordVPN's deal. Jeez, 89p. I'm 4 months free.
That's actually pretty good, man.
That's actually that's more than decent. Basically a hamburger from McDonald's. So but yeah, Arsenal's window, if you don't mind me starting on that, is I think it's been because of Douglas Luiz. I thought there's only one thing missing to make it a 10 window for me. Maybe a little bit more quality in some of the areas, but at the same time, maybe a winger. I think one more player, like a right winger potentially, or even a left winger, to be fair, because they got Saka who can play on both sides. You just lost Pepe, so who's the alternative for Pepe? I hear Marquinhos, but I've never seen him play in my life. I feel like he might be too young to be thrown in the deep end at the moment. So I'm kind of interested to see if Arsenal actually go in for a potential buyer there. But right now, I'll give it. I don't know about you guys. I would give it about a 7.5, 8 out of 10 window. You can't complain. They've addressed a lot of areas, and they look like they're working out as well. We yet to see Vieira.
Yeah, no. Look, I think I would say, but it's one of those things where you have to wait and see. But for now, you could almost argue like it's almost like between like a 7 and an 8, because in the 100% starts to the season, 5 games played, And you would argue that their best performers in those 5 games have been Jesus and Saliba. I think if that counts as a signing. So, because I said like Jesus was a steal, Zinchenko is a steal. So I think, because for me, a good window isn't the names that you get, it's how effective are they. Whether it's cost like 2 mil or 40 mil, the guys that you brought in, how effective have they been for your team, and how have they helped to improve your team? Like Arsenal were surviving without bomb, lack of threats for ages, and now they've obviously replaced him with a guy that actually knows how to play football and actually strike a ball in Jesus. So you have your boy Saliba there, who can also help the earring merchants, Ben White, out of everything. So look, I think, but let's see at the end of the season. But my fear for Arsenal, bro, if Jesus and Saliba stay fit and Zinchenko stay fit, Arsenal could do something. I mean, the title is already Man City. Like, City have already won the title. That's already a done deal. So for this, is like, can Arsenal get top 4? And that's the realistic thing, you know. But like, talk of the title, that's not. Nah. I think the signings are based off, can you secure top 4, which is what Arsenal have gotten last season. And I think if those guys don't get injured, man, yeah.
Can I put my 2 cents on it?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
I think you guys are like spot on, like with it. Like we've addressed so many of our issues, like in terms of the striking situation was the worst by far. We needed to bring in somebody, and Jesus has been like a revelation. I do count Saliba. He's not a signing, but he's coming in, and you could tell that he took us up a level. So you could put him in there. Zinchenko, really, really good. And we haven't seen Fabio Vieira yet. And what Arteta has said about him is that he will be the eventual person that takes over for Granit Xhaka. So, you know, he could be that 8 that everybody says that we need. And if we can get Douglas Luiz, for me, it's an 8.5, like, because then you just need the winger, you know, and the winger can come later on. But without Douglas Luiz, it's definitely like a 6.5, because we're already in an injury crisis, and it's already looking crazy. So yeah, we're right in there. But if we can get Douglas Luiz, I can't really complain, because you never really fix every single issue in a window. It just it rarely happens. So yeah, I think 6.5, and then if Douglas Luiz
I'm
comes in,
impressed with the outgoings. I'm really impressed with the outgoings Arsenal have done. I felt that last season there was a number of players in that squad that were a little bit, you know, on the fringes, but they had a large wage, weren't really contributing as much to the squad. I think they've managed to trim that down a bit now. So a lot of their deadwood, I know Hector Bellerin weren't there, but he weren't going to play this season. You had Ben Leno, who was not getting enough game time for the wage he was on. Nicolas Pepe. You know, you've cleared out a lot of that deadwood that's in that squad. So you've now got your clear sight on that. And then you've loaned out Nuno Tavares as well, who, you know, he's smashing it out in Marseille at the minute. So you're going to get
he's trash. Tavares is trash, though.
Yeah, well, but that's exactly the point. He's not there. And if he's doing well, it means you're going to get money for him in a year's time. So it makes it good business. I look at Arsenal's window. I think it's been very good. And that's why I'm not Douglas Luiz's biggest fan. I think he makes up for a lot of these technical deficiencies that I've seen at Villa with his physical prowess. And that's not a dig. That's just what I see. But I get a feeling he's going to work well at Arsenal, because in the last 2 windows, Arsenal have signed a lot of players that most people have gone, nah, he's not very good. And they've turned out to be pretty good. Now, Tavares is an exception to that rule, but the vast majority have fit in well and done a very, very good job indeed. And then I start comparing it to Tottenham's as an example. And I kind of look at it and think, like, Arsenal's is being kind of played down by people. You know, City rejects their signing, and well, it'll be 3 City rejects the way it'll be spun now as an example. They haven't done enough here, haven't done enough there. Who's Fabio Vieira? Never heard of him. And then you think about like what Spurs were kind of promised. And I go back to a tweet that was put out in, sorry, that didn't come out from Spurs. And I'll go and find it in a second. There's a tweet from Spurs. I thought that was the graphic there. And I can't find it. I'll go and find it in a minute, where they were talking about Spurs having, and I'm actually going to read this tweet out. Here it is. I haven't actually shared it onto the thing. So it says, Paratici is working to provide a transfer window like no other in order to provide Antonio Conte with a squad to challenge on all fronts. Like, that's the way teams like Spurs were talking at the beginning of this window, and they just haven't delivered against it. Liverpool Football Club were talking about their window being along the lines of We only need Darwin Núñez. We're going to wait till next summer. We don't need any more. And they have panicked at the 11th hour, and we'll get onto that a little bit later. So I kind of look at Spurs have had the most overrated window in the history of top flight Premier League football. I'm talking about the elite teams, and Liverpool have just had the worst. I mean, they've ended up looking like a cross between an arrogant Liverpool team that thinks it's better than it currently is, and a panicking Manchester United by on the last day of a transfer window flapping and buying someone that not a position you don't need, but an individual that you don't need, who hasn't been his best for years, who you're only loaning, showing that you don't really have, with no option to buy, showing that you don't really have any faith in him whatsoever. And when you kind of look at what Arsenal have done, and the reason I'm bringing Arsenal up and I'm bringing up Liverpool and Spurs is that Spurs are being praised for being run so well and have had a bang average window. And Liverpool are praised by me and others as being one of the best run clubs in the country. But then Arsenal have done a fantastic job, and it's still being overly scrutinized and questioned. For me, it's kind of frustrating to watch as a rival. Like, the people aren't giving Arsenal's window as much praise. I think, barring City's, who are my number one this window, which I think we'll get onto later, Arsenal have had the second best window in the league. They've been it's been phenomenal. Now, what would make it that kind of 9, maybe 9.5 out of 10 is if they went and got Pedro Neto or someone of that level on the wings right now, because then they've just covered every single area. But I think they've had a very, very good window indeed, Arsenal. Very good.
No, I mean, no, look, see, no, anybody that says, look, see, for me, look, let's be real. Arsenal and Chelsea got City sloppy seconds. It is what it is. Like it's got like City's garbage men, because let's be real, Jesus and Sterling were both on the bench. 100%, I wanted Jesus. For me, like, if there's anything you invest in Brazilian stock. Sterling is washed. Let's be real. Ever since he missed from two yards out against Leon in the UCL, he's been washed. So I didn't want Sterling, but it is what it is. We haven't. But I wanted Jesus. So if you like Jesus, Zinchenko, Saliba, Ants have had one of the best windows. But Terry, we have to wait. You can't judge Conte and the window right now, because let's be real, Conte likes his geriatrics. Hence, he got Perisic, who's like 67 or 76 years old. And when you give Conte his geriatrics, you have to wait until the end of the season. I think Tottenham finished second. Because my thing is, Man City to win, Tottenham second, maybe Arsenal third, and maybe Liverpool fourth, or Chelsea and Liverpool to fight for fourth. That's my thing, though. Yes, 100% yes, fourth. So I think that for Conte and his guys, let's wait until the end of the season. You can't assess and say, "Oh my gosh, it's overrated," because
I understand that.
Come 38 games.
I understand that. I'm sorry to interject you. I'm really sorry. I understand that, have hope. However, Conte might be able to get a tune out of the squad that he's got. And by the way, there's some brilliant players in there. Basuma's a brilliant signing. They've got Son, Kulusevski, brilliant signing in January. Harry Kane, everyone knows, I think he's world class. But in 18 months to 2 years, when Antonio Conte leaves, this squad's going to be no use to anybody else. So when I say overrated window, they're spending a lot of money on the here and now. And I don't think that they bought Jed Spence, who is a player, the manager of the year. He won for the club. He ain't for me. The manager's been trying to get him out since he arrived. Like that type of thing is like, I don't know. There's something about it. I just don't feel like the window is as good. Now, Spurs are still going to be a good team this year. There's no doubt. But I think their window's being overrated. People have been praising the signing of a Perisic. I know for a fact if Man United signed Perisic, everyone, we signed a 30-year-old, 5 times Champions League winning midfielder, and the media said, "Are you buying an old man for?"
Terry, who's the manager? No, don't do that, Terry. Who is the manager buying him?
Spurs get Perisic, and the age isn't even questioned.
Because it's Conte. No, Terry. You have to mention the manager. Conte is known for doing good with geriatrics. So if United gets a 40-year-old dude, who is the manager? I can't vouch for him. There is past experience that if you give Conte his older, elderly statesman, he will deliver you something. That's just what he is. So you have to rate Conte's transfer window on the here and now. Conte is a short-term dude. That's what he is. He's not here for 5-6 years. He's here for, I'm going to win you a trophy in the next 2 years. I'm not here for 6 years. So any guy I'm going to bring you is to win you something this year, next year, and I'm bouncing. So you have to assess his transfers based on, can you deliver us something in 1 or 2 years? He's not a 5-6 year guy.
But it's not even just that. It's people overrated their window early because they were the first team to start spending a lot of money. Early in the window, they bought like 5 players like back to back to back to back, and other teams hadn't even gotten started yet. And I still think there's this misconception that if you spend a lot of money and you do it quickly and you have all these players, you had a good window. but you could actually have a better window if you only bought 2 players based on what the holes are in the squad. They bought a backup goalkeeper. Basuma is probably like the best player that they bought. Jed Spence, not even really rated by the manager. He's a future signing. Another guy they sent back on loan. Longley, has he played yet?
I
Like, is
don't
he
know it.
actually there? Does he exist? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like right now, I think the Basuma and Richarlison signings, like, yeah, those are like big signings that like made a splash because it was like Premier League players and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, you know, they're playing their same first 11 that they did last season, you know, and they just have
Yeah.
backups now. So
It-
yeah,
Still
I
a wash.
think
It's going to be look, it's going to be
All right.
interesting to see how it works out. And I just, again, I'm not saying it's a bad window. I have said overrated. People are talking about it, and I get the manager. I get that where he can turn turn water into wine. That's the way they speak about Antonio Conte. But I think people are over egging it so much. And when I look at Arsenal, in fact, when I look at Chelsea's window, and obviously we're going to get onto them later, people are like, why are you buying Koulibaly? We're acting like we didn't just watch Thomas Tuchel turn Rudiger of similar age into one of the best centre backs in the world. Yet he signs Koulibaly, and it's like, oh, that's stupid that you can't get 10 years out of him. So why are you making those deals? I just don't like the double standards that people are faced when it comes to signing players. You know, you sign a cheap up and coming player. Some clubs get called to being cheap. He can't be that good. Other teams find a gem out of nowhere for 10, 12, 30 million pounds. And it's praised and it's rated like, oh my God, the scouting network is immense. Oh my God, they could find a needle in a haystack. I just don't like the inconsistencies with it. And maybe that's what's got my goat on there. But viewers who have had the best and who have had the most overrated transfer windows, we want to hear from you right now. Please make sure you're smashing like and share buttons. We've got some super chats here. Dan says, blue top hoodie gang. Well, these are the NordVPN hoodies that I think 4 of us are wearing, as you can see. We didn't really think it through, though, because you can't really see the logos when we're on stream. So we're going to get hats sent for next time. But yeah, there are NordVPN things. Question. Can you get NordVPN on my smart TV? One of the people at Nord are watching the show and they sent me, I wonder why they sent it to me. And then I saw this was starred. I'm going to put it into the comments now. There is a link on how to set the VPN provider up onto your smart television. I'll put it into the live comments. So yes, you can do that. Nick, thank you for the super chat, but you didn't make any comments, but thank you. Let's go down. Adrian, I'm going to save your super chat when we get onto Chelsea because it's Chelsea related. So thank you. And so I'm going to save yours, English talent, as well because it's related to Chelsea. See here says NordVPN for FFS. I know what that means. The Football Terrace YouTube will fix it. So YouTube can't fix it. It's not against the law to change a VPN to Argentina. And that's what they charge the Argentinian people for YouTube Premium. They won't change it. There's nothing they're going to do. You're not breaking any rules. It's the way. Just use modern day technology to save yourself as much money as possible to get it done. What's this here? Stream on 2 devices, just 2 up. Oh, you're streaming this show on 2 devices. Listen, if you could all go and do that, we're going to hit 10K viewers. So to go and get that done, that'd be nice. Go and do that for us. That'd be very nice. That'd be a very nice compliment. Before we move on to Chelsea, we are going to get on to Chelsea. I did want to touch on Liverpool. Liverpool today, of course, have signed Arthur Melo. I know we spoke about it earlier on today, Tom. Are you feeling happier about that now?
No, not really, no. I don't think I will be happy until I see him play. And that's if I get performances, if I see actual performance on the pitch, because from everything I've read, it's not exactly filled me with the greatest of confidence about, like, everything around it just hasn't looked good. Everything around it has just looked panicked. You know, apparently the only reason we even pushed through with this Arthur Melo deal is because Jordan Henderson got injured yesterday. So the thing is, he's not played since May, so he can't start it in the derby. He's not match sharp, so we're gonna have to see Milner in the derby, which, as you can tell, I'm buzzing about. Getting to watch 37-year-old James Milner start his 3rd game of the season.
Tom, stop hating, man. That's your captain, man. Tom, stop hating. That's your captain. Respect your captain.
Yeah, and I want to ask Jan this question. They were built up to be, rightfully so, your biggest title rivals. Yeah. Are you enjoying seeing them panic buy Arthur Melo on deadline day? Are you kind of looking at now and thinking there's no way that you're touching us?
Do you know what? Like, I'm always one of them people. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's why I don't get too upset if we don't win every single game. You know, we're going to drop points. They're going to drop points. There's a lot of points to play for across the season. So I never really, even though Liverpool had a bad start, I don't think that necessarily means they're going to continue like that through the season. And Liverpool, with City, are the two teams that have proven that they can go on these runs where they don't get beaten for, months at a time, So we've seen that from them. It's still the same team. Yes, they've got injuries, but it is still the same team. I think when you play for all 4 competitions, which Liverpool did last season, we did the season before, it does knacker you, and you can see it in the next season. That's why last season we started really slowly. So I think that is getting to Liverpool a little bit.
You get a hangover, don't you?
But I do think in terms of because what I've seen is the start to the season, there was a meltdown from Liverpool fans, obviously. And then it's kind of like Klopp was kind of forced into having to look at a midfielder. So it does feel kind of like they've obviously looked at better players. They've obviously looked into the market. But the way that it is, because of the timing, they've not been able... Because if we think about it, if Klopp decided this a month ago, they probably would have got Nunes. They probably would have got a better midfielder. But it's kind of like now they're looking. And like you say, there's no real commitment. It's not like they've signed him on a 3-year deal.
Buy option. We don't even want him. We just want him gone next year. We just need the body that he provides in there.
That's what I'm thinking. It's crazy. I don't really get it myself.
No, but Jan, let's keep things real.
Yeah.
This is the first day of September. Let's try and keep things real. You're celebrating. You're going to pop champagne bottles very soon because you've won the league. Because you're looking at Liverpool.
Too early.
No. Like, come on. Like, you're looking at Liverpool. You're looking at their poverty midfield. You're looking at how trash Henderson is, how trash Milner is. Thiago getting injured. Arthur Melo, we don't even know. This guy's just here to take. Like, you're looking at Liverpool as your supposed challengers. It's done. It's like the league is done. So you're just saying this to humor Tom. You're saying this to be respectful to Tom. But deep inside that,
to win the league, but it is early. It is early. Anything can happen across the season. We've got the World Cup coming up. City, most of our squad, apart from Haaland, I'm sure you'll all be glad to know, he's going to be rested for a month. But everyone else is going to be probably playing. So we'll have to see. I think after the World Cup, it is going to take its toll on City because, I've been saying for a while, our best period in the season is normally around Christmas, January. That's where City are they go on crazy runs. And that's why we normally win the league because it's like we've been on this run.
Jan, you're not telling the truth. So. Jan, you're not telling the truth. You know deep down that Haaland just dropped 2-3 pieces back to back.
Man. He's unreal.
So he's not going there. So at the end of the day, if your challengers are Liverpool with Milderson as a midfield in 2022,
don't need to remind me.
The trash that's happening at the bridge. We know Tottenham are allergic to winning trophies. Arsenal are only here for top 4 because Lightbulb cannot win a trophy without Aston team, and Kaz even knows that United can't even dream of winning the title. It's over. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. It is a done deal. And I think Liverpool going for Melo. Tom, you just know that. Even look at Tom. It doesn't excite you. It's desperation because Tom, your manager said that. Oh my gosh, we don't need midfielders. Blah blah blah. Where the guy's going to win the quadruple? But now he said, I was wrong. You were right. Let's now go onto the internet. Go to YouTube comps. Who is the midfielder that's now free? Oh, Arthur Melo, come here. So what, guys? The Premier League is over, man.
It's been a shambles of a window. It's been a shambles of a window in reality. It started off with such promise. It went to pot, and this has to be a lesson to the club.
Do you blame Klopp or FSG?
It's Klopp.
It's on all parties here. It's on all parties. No one is exempt here.
Who do you blame the most? Who do you blame the most?
A mixture of the recruitment team plus Klopp, because the recruitment team obviously didn't give him the play that he wants, but Klopp also turned down their number 1 recommendation. So it's on the pair of them for not giving.
I can tell you.
The right player.
What are you saying, Kaz?
I can tell you how Liverpool are going to win the league. Potentially, if they get more +3 minutes added on extra time, +1 is a +5. 98 minutes. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now.
I can't believe I've got a United fan going on at me about added time. Yeah. That was what you thrived off for 10 years.
I relax. We're above you. Well, we're going to be above you, and we're going to still, beat you 2-1. Relax. We got that bit. Stick to your Arthur Melos. We stick to our Casemiros.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, mate. All right. You stick to your plus 8 minutes.
Tom, that's what was onside. Isaac was onside. Tom, you know it. He was onside. Tom, don't you dare. Tom, don't you dare.
Do you know what's crazy? Liverpool, that last minute winner probably made them go for Melo this morning instead of spending more money. That's the crazy thing. And I do put this on Jurgen Klopp because, and I'm doing it to be a little bit facetious as well, because Liverpool fans, when anything that's good that's happened to their club, Klopp, Kloppity Klopp, Klopp hug. That's it. It's always him, right? Something goes wrong, not Klopp. No, if he runs a club, if he's the reason you are where you are, people tell me it's not how your club's run, Terry. It's about the manager. Well, then it's on Jurgen Klopp, isn't it? And, he has allowed this to happen all summer. The arrogance of the man to not think he needed to improve that midfield. And even after the first couple of games, didn't admit that he needed a new midfield. And look, Arthur, could he end up being a good signing? Maybe. But this stinks of a panic buy. Why can I smell it? Why can I see it? Because my club's done this so many times. We've always rated. And you'll see this, by the way, and I mean this with respect to the journalists. They're doing their job. You'll get this on a James Pearce. You'll get this on a big Liverpool podcast. Grizz Khan, big up yourself. He'll probably say this on his next Liverpool show. We've always had a link to him. You've got Liverpool fans right now scouring the internet for a link during Klopp's era.
Scouting back in his Brazil days and all that. We've been scouting since
they can join the dots and say this isn't like they tried to do with Johan Kabak. Oh, yeah, we've always wanted him. Ben Davis, been on the radar for 3 years, actually, Terry. We're going to get spun all that nonsense, but this is a rank panic buy from Liverpool. But it's a panic buy on the cheap because there are still players, Douglas Luiz, available today as an example. Tillemans, different type of player, but available today. Yeah. You've got the lad that Chelsea have bid for, available. Like I know they've said no, but the right level of bid. If you put your hands in your pocket today, Liverpool, and went, there's 60, there's 70 million pound guy. But fuck, if you stuck 100 million pound on Dortmund's desk this morning, 120 million pound for Jude Bellingham, they might say yes. But instead, you've just gone for a washed, overrated. Now getting towards journeyman that you don't even want. If I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be fuming.
There's too much forward thinking in this club at the minute. There's too much forward thinking. They're always focused on next summer, what we're going to do next year. Focus on the here and now. For God's sake, focus on the here and now, because all that will happen next summer, God forbid, we spent 3 years pining for Jude Bellingham. If he does not come to this club next year, I do not know what the plan is. I have no clue what the plan is if we don't get Jude Bellingham.
Well, that's
because
why
all
I
I've
don't
been told for 3
well.
years is him. It's him or bust, apparently. He's the messiah, the savior to everything.
I don't understand about it is like all of your other players get a year older next year. So Henderson's going to be a year older. Exactly. Milner's going to be 51. All this. I just don't.
Van Dijk will be 32. Van Dijk and Thiago will be 32. Salah will be 31. How many more years of their prime?
Do you know what they remind me of Liverpool? You're bang on. They remind me, and I don't know if any of your dads were like this. Mine wasn't, to be fair. But you get what you see women moan about this a lot. The old man that's like, listen, I know the wallpaper's come down. I'll fix it out next weekend. And they keep moving it to next weekend, to the next weekend. And then there's a leaky tap. And then the grass is overgrown. And then there's some brickwork that needs sorting. And then there's something else that's been, the car's broke. And suddenly there's 10, 15 jobs that need doing. And the house is a state. So you've got to address these. And listen, Liverpool fans think I'm digging their club out. I'm not. I don't allow any of the top six to be referred to as underdogs. We are all so rich in comparison. Our TV deal money is more turnover than the vast majority of Europe get in their total club turnover. And in the Premier League, our six clubs like literally engulf in money, the drown the majority of other teams. There is no reason for Liverpool not to spend this year. What they will also do, you'll see this line come from somebody. You'll talk about, well, people can't really afford their gas bills at the moment. And, we think it's wrong to be spending crazy money on players. Well, it ain't like you're giving that money to the local people to pay their gas and energy bills with. They will pull on it. They will pull on societal issues for a reason why they can't spend. And they're just lying to you. And that's what annoys me about football fans. And ironic, I don't care if Liverpool fans don't support the idea of Man United's protest. I'll stand up for you if you won't stand up for yourselves. You're being exploited by your owners. and your manager is propagating it, and you need to push against it because you pay loads of money to watch games. You spend hundreds of pounds a year on kits and lunch boxes, merchandise and stickers, and they're not spending your money on a squad to make you win. But they'll tell you they're trying to win. They'll tell you they want to be at the top, but they're not spending the money for it. And it infuriates me to watch this kind of thing go on. It really does.
But do you know what confuses me as well about Liverpool is it's not like they haven't thrown money at the midfield before. Like they did it with Keita. And a lot of the signings that they wanted went reasonably cheap. It's not like everyone they wanted went for 100 million. Like, how much was Nunes? Like, not that much, I don't think.
I think
yeah, that's not bad. That is what you would expect to pay for a decent midfielder in this day and age. You're not going to get, unless you get someone
Calvin
really...
Phillips went for 45 million. I was like Calvin Phillips in a half.
Yeah,
look at all the midfielders that went this window, and we thought we're above them. We'll wait. We're too good. That they can't improve Milner and Henderson. Milner and Henderson have been absolutely shocking to start this season off. Absolutely shocking to the point where I'm sitting there going into the Merseyside derby and I'm going to start the two 19-year-old kids. Sorry, one's 20 now. Start the 19 and the 20-year-old because at least then there's a little bit about them. 6 games in, and I'm sat there going to start the kids. What's the point?
I hear you.
But actually, no, just real quick. I think the key thing that you need to ask is Klopp a long-term guy? Why Fergie was so good is he knew how to destroy and rebuild. Rebuild. Klopp has now reached a point where that thing that he built now needs to be destroyed and rebuilt into something new. At Dortmund, you see, Dortmund is up and down because really at Dortmund, a lot of his players got poached by Bayern Munich. But at Dortmund, he couldn't rebuild. He built it, couldn't rebuild it, and this is where they now went to. So I think for Klopp, does he know how to? Don't be loyal to a fault. You have to be ruthless. Mm-hmm. Firmino, cool. Henderson, cool. But you're now done. And I need to replace Firmino. I need to replace Henderson. I need to replace Milner. So does he know how to destroy and rebuild a new winning team?
He knows how to rebuild because if you look at the squad now, you've got the main guys who are in their late 20s, early 30s, and then you've got a nice young core of the next squad coming through.
It's rebuilt. It's easier to, when you're not winning and you build to winning, there's often more patience because Liverpool hadn't won anything major for years. But once you've won and we're all greedy as human beings. Once you taste that quench of success, you know, that your thirst has been quenched after 30 years of winning that league title, being one of the best teams in the world again consistently. It's hard for fans to go, right, we'll wait 4 or 5 years to get back to that point again. It's when you've got the money not to drop that way. So I think the question marks are definitely there. Viewers, make sure you're smashing that like and share, but I'm still got Chelsea conversation to come. We are going to have a preview of Man United versus Arsenal as well. Any other breaking transfer news that comes through, we'll speak to you about. Nothing really new has broke since we've been talking in relation to what's going on. Let's do some of these super chats here. I think Conte working well with geriatrics is a myth, to be fair. That's only a handful he's worked with. If you deep it, HH. And then he says, hi, Jess. That is from Strange Diplomat. Terry, can you watch 3 p.m. kickoffs with NordVPN? So remember, you can't watch it on NordVPN. That's not what it does. But what it enables you to do is for instance, go on the internet, go onto Peacock, who are a US channel, and switch your IP address to say that you're in America, and you can subscribe to that and be able to legally be able to watch 3 p.m. kickoff. So that's how it's done, Carl B. Thank you, my friend. What we have learned actually is that the second offer for Douglas Luiz worth 23 million has been rejected, according to Alex Crook. There's a few people that have put that in. That bid has been rejected. So Arsenal, as it stands, need to increase their bid for Douglas Luiz from 23 million pounds. Currently, Villa are saying they want 40 million to get it done. But I suppose they're sitting there, Villa, going, well, you've obviously got the money because you tried to get Rafinha and it didn't happen. So the money's there. We know you got that money, Arsenal. Get it out. Now, viewers, we'll move on to talk a little bit about Chelsea, who've so far had a very intriguing day indeed. But one of the big stories kind of going around is that Chelsea are initially pushing and growing in confidence, according to Ben Jacobs, of signing Edson Alvarez. He hasn't been training today, but it has also been reported by Mike Vervale that the player has been told unequivocally by Ajax that they will not accept the bid of around 50 million. But there are such conflicting reports. Some saying that this is still going to happen. Some saying Chelsea are going to bid higher. A few suggesting it might be off. But Edson Alvarez, Jess, good deal for Chelsea? Or is this a panic buy for a DM at the last minute?
It's difficult because when you say panic buy, usually you're talking about somebody who's probably doesn't fit the requirements, is probably not that good, maybe a little bit over the hill, and you're just throwing some money at it just to try to, get something there. But Edson Alvarez is a decent defensive midfielder, and Chelsea have needed one because Conte is not fit, and I think people are kind of maybe thinking Jorginho is not maybe the right type of DM.
No, he's trash. No, Jez. Jorginho is just trash. He's trash. Just say he's trash. He's trash.
So, I mean, basically with Edson Alvarez, you might get some sort of weird combination of Jorginho and Conte together, and that gives you more options, I think, because you have to kind of play both of them together to get something out of it. So I'm not sure if I feel like it's a panic buy. I think it's something that they've needed to do, that they've waited a little bit late to get done. And it's just teams do not want to sell this late. And if they do, they're going to make sure that you have to pay a lot of money, especially because it feels like the Premier League are being taken for a ride. People know the Premier League teams have money. So they're like, yeah, you need to pay up. So yeah, I think this is a player that Chelsea do need. For some reason, I feel like Chelsea will go in with some bid, extra 5 million or something like that, and maybe it'll get done. But Ajax is just in such a weird situation because they have all these players that everybody wants that don't want to stay, and they have to decide if they want to get rid of them or not. So I wouldn't classify it as a panic buy because I think if he steps into that Chelsea midfield, Chelsea improve. And you don't look at it like, okay, what is this guy doing here? Like a panic buy to me is like Saul. Somebody that just doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. Why did you bring him here? He's not going to help you out. So yeah, would be a good signing. It'll be interesting to see if it gets over the line because Ajax have sold a lot of players, so they're going to sell another one, but he's aggravating. He doesn't want to stay. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's because Ajax are in a tough situation because I didn't think that they'd sell Anthony because I was like, you're in a group with, so again, you still want to be competitive in the Eredivisie against Feyenoord and PSV, and you're in a group with Napoli, Power Rangers, and Liverpool. So it's like in that group, if you have Anthony, you should be able to go through. But now, if you now lose Anthony, I think Napoli and Liverpool make it to the group. But it's like if a club is offering you 50 million, you can't really reject that because at the end of the day, it's a bottom line. Like Ajax are not a Barcelona Real Madrid band where you have the luxury of rejecting 100 million. Like there's a rumor right now on Twitter that apparently a club bid 100 million for Frankie De Jong. I think Sarah, I think that might be your club who was trying to still bid for Frankie or something. I don't know.
No.
But
we got Casemiro. But we got Casemiro.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But so my thing is for Ajax, I really do feel like if it's a 50 or 55, they may have to accept. But to Jesse's point in terms of, I don't think it's not a panic buy. Chelsea, he is a decent player. Chelsea do need to bolster that midfield. I have no idea why Chelsea allows Billy Gilmore to go. That makes no freaking sense. And look, Chelsea have so many issues. Even if we get Alvarez, we don't have a playmaker. We don't have anybody that can dribble. The attack is poverty. The attack is trash. So I think that just helps to alleviate a few of the issues because of Kante's injuries. But I still think that, look, Aubameyang and Alvarez, at least you're making baby steps towards trying to be competitive because as of right now, the way Arsenal are looking,
I can't wrap my head around that Gilmore sale. I cannot wrap my head around that Gilmore sale at the minute.
So it makes zero sense.
For the price.
How much was it for? Sorry,
I think it's 9 million. I think it's 9 million.
Then.
I think you're going to. I think Billy Gilmore's sale, like I really wanted to see Jimmy Garner play for Man United. I get a sense, and I'm gonna make a little prediction. Both these players, just like I thought, I think they're no better than Joe Willock. And the only reason Joe Willock went for £25 million is because he had a ridiculous purple patch of 7 goals in 7 games and hasn't scored. I mean, he's scored since 2 or 3 if he's lucky. Jesse Lingard's another one where he performed at a level above his station for West Ham for a few months, and then suddenly everyone was saying 30-40 million pound player. He isn't. Billy Gilmore looks good but doesn't do very much. Maybe at Brighton you'll see a better player. We know how good your manager is, but if he was good enough, your manager would be using him, surely.
No. See, from this one here, guys, don't give managers too much credit. Tuchel does good things. Tuchel does bad things. Because Tuchel is a guy who is playing guys out of position and has been playing guys out of position for ages. So no manager is completely carte blanche where like they can do no wrong. And I think for Tuchel, you have Jorginho is a liability. Kante has injury issues. So you literally have one true central midfielder who you can bank on. Mount, I don't even know where that dude plays. That guy just runs around the freaking pitch. So with Billy Gilmore, at least you have some midfield cover to now help with a Jorginho or if Kante goes down. So if you now lose a Billy Gilmore, you're gonna play Conor Gallagher in there. The guy can't play there, So my thing is, okay, if you're gonna let Billy Gilmore go, who are the freaking alternatives in that central midfield area? Who? I mean, look,
I understand. Sorry, go on, Kaz. Go on, bruv.
I don't understand what you mean 50 million is too good to turn down. Who are Ajax and need to accept that bid? They've sold more than like half their squad this season, bro.
Kaz, 50 million is good enough. 50 million is good enough.
It's not. Anyways, they don't need to sell. They don't need. This is what you're saying. They don't. It's not a good offer. 50 million is not a good offer for Alvarez at this moment in time. They got someone that's in the negotiations and sent him in with Everton. I can't remember his name exactly. The begins with a K. But anyways. That geezer. But other than that, it's just like they don't need to sell 50 million. If I'm Ajax, I'm going to be wanting 70, 80 million. They just got 100 million euros for Anthony. They sold us Martinez for how much money? 48 million pounds. I don't know what you want to do in euros, that conversion rate. Who else have they sold this summer as well? A lot of people. Like, they don't need to stop 50 million. What's 50 million going to get them? There's no point. They're doing good business. They've accumulated a lot more money than they ever have in their history.
The only thing I'd say to that, though, Kaz, is the reaction that he's giving. He's now, he's properly thrown his toys out the pram. Do you want to keep that around and hope that he fixes it up after the window?
Yeah, but it's one day. Anthony threw toys out the pram for about 4 days before he got his move, or 5, or whatever it was. It's one day. He's going to go back to his football. Cool, you might get your move next season. They don't need to. Like, I like this narrative that Man United keep getting got rejected by De Jong. Why does no one talk about the rejection of Chelsea as well? Chelsea were clearly in for De Jong.
You don't do that. United were trying De Jong for 3,000 years, and you got embarrassed by the whole thing.
You're just window shopping, getting nothing, man.
We didn't really get embarrassed. Hang on, but we didn't get embarrassed. We ended up with Casemiro.
Yes, you did.
With Casemiro.
That's the difference.
Do you know what I mean?
Casemiro is going there for a buy. Do you think Casemiro is going there because he's going there to get paid?
See, but this is what happens. This is. I mean, I'm not going to get drawn out by your nonsense. Have hope today because
it's facts. It's
because if we didn't sign Casemiro and we ended up signing
Rabiot,
it'd have been, oh my god, look at the drop off. You wanted De Jong, you end up with him. We end up with another player of actually a higher stature in the game than De Jong. He's a 5-time Champions League winner, and he's only here for money. The same as when we spent £50 million on Sandro Martinez. Far too much money for a defender. We spent £13 million on Malacia. He can't be that good at 13 million. Whatever we do, you look for the negative in. And for me, I'm just not biting on it. But we have some breaking news very quickly. I'm very sorry. Chelsea are now frantically looking at other midfield options before tonight's deadline. According to Jason Burt, after the bid's been rejected. But we also have some more breaking news. This is an interesting one here, as you can see. This comes from Sky Sports. Sky Sports have stated that Liverpool have failed in their attempt to sign Douglas Luiz. Liverpool did make an attempt to sign him today. Liverpool today tried to sign him. I'll put the wording up so you can probably see that a little bit easier. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And how do I zoom in without pressing the button? There we go. Liverpool tried to sign him today, but the player wants to go for Arsenal. So according to Sky Sports, Douglas Luiz has rejected Liverpool for Arsenal Football Club.
It's a Brazil thing. It's a Brazil thing. It's a Brazil thing.
We got Arthur. What's the point? We got Arthur. What's the point?
Nah. You don't have the same samba Salini. It's that samba life, man. That samba life.
No one here Terry in the background. He kept saying rejected.
That was an echo. That was an echo. I haven't turned my VPN provider on, so I might be getting hacked. I don't know. It wasn't me. But yeah, it looks like Liverpool. They're rejected. How can Liverpool get? Listen, it just shows the changing of the time. Eric Ten Hag said in the summer, didn't he? All like eras come to an end. Maybe this is it for Liverpool. Maybe Liverpool's era is now coming to an end because Douglas Luiz has said no to Klopp, no to Henderson, no to Van Dijk, and said yes to Saliba and Arteta, and obviously other players. That is massive, massive news.
So I'm sorry,
it's
man.
the name Gabriel, because apparently his name is Douglas Luiz Gabriel, something like that. Like, he's literally got that name. That's what it is.
Oh, does Arthur have Gabriel in his name? You can take him. I need to Google, does he have Gabriel? Please have Gabriel.
Yeah, no, that's crazy if true. I mean,
You've got Everton book Gabriel. You've got Everton book Gabriel on his name, for Christ's sake.
Wow, that's big news. In other news surrounding Chelsea, reportedly Gerard Romero and another number of Brazilian Barca-based outlets have said that Chelsea might also be looking at Memphis Depay today. I mean, he's seemingly available for any of us to get, like theoretically, like. Memphis, would he be a good addition for a Premier League team or not?
Memphis, Tennessee. You see, this is what I said to guys. I said to United fan that you should go for Memphis, Tennessee. I was like, bro, the guy failed in 2014, 2015. This is 2022. He's a much different player. He would actually be really good. I would be happy getting Memphis in that attack. Because I think he would bring in much needed brains, technicality, and football IQ into the attack. I think Memphis but you have to get to Memphis and pair him with something. He can't be your main attacker. That's the issue. So you can't be a guy where he comes in and he's now the main guy for goals. But if you now pair him with a Sterling, with an Aubameyang, can say something. Because for me, like, I want Havertz and Mount out of this freaking team. These guys are trash. These guys are crap. These guys are freaking useless. I want these guys out of my team. And so if you can give me a Memphis, Sterling, and Aubameyang front three, let's ride. Ride.
Can I just say on Sterling, he does play a lot better with a striker. That's why I don't understand him leaving City at the point where we buy someone that would have really helped Sterling. So it's kind of crazy.
You pushed him out.
I mean, he only Rodri and De Bruyne. No, I don't even think it was De Bruyne. There was 2 players that played more games than Sterling last season. Only 2. So we know Pep Roulette. No one is definitely on the score sheet. I'd say, sorry, the team sheet. The only player that's on it every week we can work out is Edison. Everyone else may or may not start. So I get what Sterling's saying, but a lot of it is kind of like, it's the same for everyone. He's not treated differently. If anything, Pep changed our whole formation for a Champions League final solely to fit Sterling in. So, yeah.
But what I think though is that ever since he missed that goal from 1 year against Leon, it was downhill through there. Like, I think, yes, he played well at the Euros, but I just think mentally that destroyed it. Hence why I wanted Jesus. Like I said, yo, Todd B. Get Jesus, not Sterling. Give me Jesus, but Todd B said, nah, I'm going to go for Sterling. So it's what it is, man, you know. So shout out to your boy Todd.
Well, and it really wasn't that. It was Jesus preferred to go to Arsenal. He rejected you guys.
Just relax.
I need you guys to get that straight.
Just you will not lie in front of thousands upon thousands of people on the terrace.
True. It's
can you say that a bit louder, please, if you don't mind? Just come a little bit more to the mic. H, do you mind just lowering it a little bit?
Your club doesn't have a single UCL. So how could he prefer to go?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
They care about winning, not being.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is the most tired rank thing that you guys always go back to. Well, you haven't won anything. Da da da. I get that. But you guys know both you and Spurs got rejected for Jesus. Like, you know that. So
those are lies.
It wasn't Todd B didn't go after him. It was you got rejected. Like, come on.
Todd B. Speaking of Todd B, how would you guys rate Chelsea's window? Because they've spent nigh on £300 million.
Sorry, that's a lie. It's not 300.
Okay, I said nigh on, right? So I'm talking towards that. Let me just go and get the exact amount. Chelsea transfer all, right? Let's get all your transfers so far this year. How much have you spent so far? I might have been exaggerating slightly.
Like 160 or 120.
Right. So without the 10, it's 242 million plus obviously Aubameyang has got to be added to that, so that would be around 250 million. And if you were to land Alvarez today, you'd hit 300 million. Plus, you might also be signing the 12 million pound young Russian lad. So that would, if you get all your three signings today, you're going to spend around 310 million. Plus, you still tried to get Guardiola. You got rejected for Rafinha.
Sorry, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you've spent a hell of a lot of money.
Yes.
Some of it for the future, some of it for the here and now. You've signed some world-class players. How are we ranking Chelsea's window? And what should the expectations for Chelsea be after buying Wesley Fofana, Cucurella, Sterling Koulibaly, the youngsters, and they're going to have Aubameyang 100% definitely. And I still think they'll sign a midfielder today. Like, what are we ranking Chelsea's window out of 10?
5,
6.
Who said 5? Who said 5? Who said 5?
Why a 5?
No,
I
6.
don't
It's
think
got to be a 6. It's got to be a 6.
Oh, no,
They
I like-
signed
I like the-
world-class
the
players at the end of
improvements.
the day, man.
I
Sam,
like
don't bring that negative energy
Raheem
because
Sterling-
your club has Milton in midfield. Don't start to project your negative energy to the bridge, man.
you
What do you mean by
also
5
have
out of
to
10?
take
I like the signing of
consideration-
Raheem Sterling. I like the signing of Koulibaly, but I think in certain situations you've overpaid. Look, you've got good players, but you've overpaid. And I think outgoings-wise, you haven't got as much money as you should have done.
Wait. What do you mean by overpaying? If you have the cash, spend the cash. What do you mean by overpaying?
But it's not even just that. It's people don't take into consideration when you get the signings in. You know, if you had some of these signings in earlier, a striker, midfielder, would you guys have, how many wins do you guys have? 1 so far? How many games?
2.
How many points?
Two, actually.
So 2? Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, in terms of execution, I think you have to ding some points just off of that. Because if you have those players in, who knows how important those drop points will be at the end of the season. You guys know I'm speaking the truth. Like, it could just
I
be
also
3
don't
points
rate
that
the
are the
Aubameyang
difference.
signing. I don't rate the
Wait,
Aubameyang signing
okay,
as
look.
high as others.
I think
It's
it's like a
5
6
games.
and a half.
You should have done better than Aubameyang.
I
The fact that
know.
you've wasted deadline day for Aubameyang, I don't think it's because that was your main issue. I think everyone was pointing to your attack at the start of this window as being one of the key. You had your defensive issues which you needed to sort, and you have sorted. But before that, your attacking issues were you can't score goals. You have no one there who can get
and
you
you
20
just
goals. You
said-
still haven't got that.
Sorry to cut across you, but that's exactly why the fee matters. You're saying, well, if you just spend the money, spend the money. The fact that you guys spent 100 million on Lukaku is the reason why it took you so long to get in the
97.5, Jess.
attacker.
97.5.
Exactly. And you spent the beginning of the window trying to make sure that you could get him loaned back out. So the fees do matter, even if you have the money to spend, because if it backfires, then you have to deal with it. And that's ultimately why you probably have Aubameyang. You probably would have had more time to look at better alternatives had you had not had the Lukaku situation. So it does matter. Good window though. Like, I think you solved a lot of your issues, like good quality players. Like, it's got to be like a 7, maybe.
I sense sarcasm. I sense sarcasm from you, Jess. And my thing here is just, look, it's 5 games of the season. I get it. 100% record. Light bulb, Thomas Edison, all this kind of stuff and everything.
We're talking about Chelsea. Why do you?
No. I sense
way?
sarcasm. But here's the
It's
thing.
not. I said it was a 7. It's a good
Sarcasm.
window.
I know, I get it. But it's a 38-game season. If at the end of 38 games, Sterling is on 16, 17, 18 goals and has an amazing season, I want Terry you to clip this as a receipt. So if at the end of 38 games,
Oh my
Chelsea
gosh,
finish above, and all these signings we've
No,
said that have been overpaid for actually do well, Tom, I will need a double-spaced apology from you.
Okay, so here's the thing. All I said was that, first of all, you guys finished what, 5 points ahead of us, 3 points ahead of Spurs, and I think we're closer to you guys now than we were last season. So again, those however many points you dropped at the beginning of the seasons because you didn't have your signings in, you weren't ready to go, could be the difference between you guys making your goals or not. So, like, I'm not saying your signings are bad or anything like that. I'm just saying you have to take that into consideration. Should have got them in earlier.
Think as
You
a
should have been more
squad,
prepared.
as a squad, what you had last season to what you have now, I don't think the improvement is that big. I still think there are issues in that squad which haven't been addressed. I think your defense, you had to sort out your defense. You lost pretty much your entire defense. Obviously, Rudiger and Christensen. You've brought in Koulibaly and Fofana, who I think are good buys. I think performance a little bit overpriced, but it's a good buy. Your striker situation you haven't sourced until now. I don't rate Aubameyang is the solution. Your midfield situation you haven't sourced until now. I don't know who the solution is. You bought a left back, which, yeah, he's been all right. I don't necessarily think left back was high up on the shopping list, though. So I think you made good buys, but in terms of what you needed, it's not been as successful a window. I think on paper it looks good, but with what you needed to get,
Are they title challengers with what they have? Like, can we all say, like, are they title challengers with what they've got? Because that was the goal, wasn't it?
I think on paper you would look at it with the quality they've signed and go, yes, but the problem is this is the issue. If we hadn't seen Chelsea kick a ball and all these signings have been made, we'd go, let's just say they bring in Alvarez. If they sign Alvarez tonight with Aubameyang and everybody else, if they all came in before a ball was kicked, we'd go, could win the title. But because you've seen Chelsea play, it's hard because you've seen so many flaws in the way they're doing things. The same as if you didn't see Arsenal kick a ball when they signed the players they had, nobody thought you would win your opening 3 games, let alone opening 5. So it skews things a little bit. Adrian here says, furious if we don't get a DM. We needed one desperately. Probably not happening anymore. All on Tuchel for not addressing early. He'll be gone. And a DM in January.
Factamundo. Adrian, shake.
A question for HH. It is Dodd, a degree of difficulty if Chelsea bought Haaland and he flop.
I don't know. I refuse to answer that question.
I bet knew you would. I think Chelsea fans should be patient with the board and TT. I don't care if he messes up right now. People backed Arteta and trusted the process. Might as well do the same with Chelsea.
No.
Trust the process.
Eagles mash. No. If all because let's say a clown is your manager, should you still back him because you're manager? My thing is, Tuchel, if you're bidding 60 mil for Gordon Ramsay, I am backing you, bro. I'm sorry. So you can't just back a manager blindly. If a manager is buying fruit sellers, farmers, and carpenters and expects fruit sellers, carpenters, and farmers to get to your trophy, you don't back that. Shouts to Lightbulb. Lightbulb, for several years, has been amassing quality of players. 8th, 5th. But when you look at what Lightbulb has been buying and the kinds that he's been recruiting, that's a guy that you should back. Bro, let's see what Tuchel does in the next few windows.
Who's
Lightbulb. Arteta, all or nothing. He had a light bulb during one of these things, so I call him Lightbulb. He had a light bulb in one of his
I don't know. Chelsea, you know what? I don't know how your club gets off so lightly all the time because you just lost to Southampton. You lost against Leeds in a fashion as well, and nobody says
have a striker. What are you talking about?
I don't care what you tell me, right? That squad is good enough to beat Leeds.
Breaking news to bring you here from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea have just approached Juve for Dennis Zakaria. Talks have started as the Sangara deal is off right now. That has come directly from Fabrizio Romano. Let me zoom in a bit for you. Directly from Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea have approached Dennis Zakaria. He could become a Chelsea football player this window. Sorry to interject over everybody while you were talking, but it was breaking news, and it's always more dramatic when we do it like that. Dennis Zakaria.
No, but here's my thing, though.
Panic buy, all stations a go, panic loan.
Panic or not, let's put that to one side.
I don't care.
This is a panic. This is
definitely a panic. This is panic. I'm telling you this now, yeah. As I was saying, your squad
so badly
is
at
good enough.
Juventus.
Their squad, are you telling me anyone in here, even the comments and everything around, please don't forget to smash the like button as well, because I just realized over 5,000 people in there and there's not even 1,000 likes. Like, come on, do that for Terry and the stream as well, and also NordVPN as well. Get them out to some more potential customers. But at the same time, that squad is good enough to beat Leeds and good enough to beat Southampton, is it not? Because that is a great team at the end of the day. So who's to really blame? It's Thomas Tuchel. And he needs to start taking blame, because if it was Arsenal, Manchester United, or anybody else, we would be on them and we'd be laughing at them. And sometimes you just gotta, just say he got it wrong, bro. It's not good enough. That's all. Every time you talk, H, you just got some sort of excuse coming out of your ass, bro.
Whoa, Kaz. I'm the last guy that uses excuses. My middle name is real facts. So I don't do excuses. I'm just giving you facts. No, it is your choice whether you want to believe it or not. But I've got to address the whole Zakaria thing. I mean, like you see this. Remember when you guys were in university and an essay was due? So normally you have like 2 weeks to do your essay. Now, again, I wasn't the greatest academically. I always did my essay the night before. But that's me. I'm not a football club. If you have something, you had a 1 month transfer window, and you know that you had things to address, why are you now trying to make signings on the freaking day? Because my thing with the whole Zakaria thing, why will Juve sell him? He's important to Juventus. The guy is important and is a very important player for Juventus, who are trying to win the Scudetto and do well in the Champions League. So for Chelsea, why would you think that Juventus, unless you offer them a crazy fee, and even if you offer them a crazy fee, they need a replacement. They're not going to remember, Pogba is injured. They ain't going to fully rely on Rabiot. So it's not in Juve's best interest to sell Zakaria.
They bought Paredes. They had Paredes. They bought him from
Paredes
PSG.
and Rabiot. Come on.
Well, first of all, the reason why they want to get rid of Zakaria is because he's flopped massively. That's why they brought in Paredes. Like, he's only been there since January. So they probably would be open to you guys taking him off your hands because they got him for, I think, really cheap, too.
You have plenty of options in that midfield. H, you can join me in the club, in the group of people who are buying Juventus's flops in their midfield on panic. It's a good club. I enjoy it. Join me, H. They're fine if they accept this. If it just screams,
that can't be the
there was no build up beforehand of Zakaria, no mention that he's even on Chelsea's radar, and then with 4-5 hours to go in there, straight there they want Zakaria. It doesn't look good.
Jan, thank you very much for being on. I didn't know how to quite do it. David's waiting backstage. I was told to swap. I didn't know if you knew, been told. David's joining us now for some more of the show. Jan, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very, very much indeed. She went over by 15 minutes for us as well. So thank you very, very much. Lot still to delve into. I mean, Zakaria one's hard for me because I really wanted him back in December. I know he hasn't done well at Juve, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. That we've seen a number of players not do well in one league and then do brilliantly in others. So maybe Denis Zakaria just isn't suited to Juve or the Italian league. Maybe the Premier League will be a stomping ground for him. Maybe he'll do well here. Arguably the Premier League's GOAT, was a flop in Serie A, but very, very good in the Premier League. So there's more than one way to skin a cat in relation to that. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to see how that kind of transpires. We've got a few more super chats here. I want to go through these. No kidding. Luke de Jong is better than fake Drake. Who's fake Drake?
Memphis. Depay.
Right. Is that what they call
it? He's a rapper, so
I ain't down with the kids. Interesting here. Chelsea have offered a 1-year contract offer to Barcelona for Memphis, and the Netherlands international is ready to accept. That's from my guy, Pete, Sports Pete, of course, Pete O'Rourke. Who works with the Football Insider as well there. Memphis to pay to Barcelona. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. United fan here, we were begging for Zakaria. Chill. Yeah, that's why I said it. I'm not going to sort of hypocrisize myself. Chelsea approached Zakaria from... Just funny, I swear I saw someone quote Fabrizio earlier on today when he was live on Twitch, and he said there's no truth in Chelsea going for Zakaria. Now he's saying it is. This is why sometimes I say, I know we like the big names that get the news right, but equally they're not always first to these things. Don't just discount everybody else. Chelsea was sanctioned for months, couldn't talk to no players, so of course they were late. Why does this never get why is there never any context for Chelsea?
What?
Well, you were sanctioned, so you couldn't actually start talking to players until your new owners came in, which was late June. So you were actually behind everybody else.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But you still have the whole of July and the whole of August. So you still had two months still. No. That is not an excuse. You still had a whole 2 months to still begin negotiations with guys. Somebody is at fault here for not knowing that, my gosh, this midfield needs revamping. This team needs a dribbler in attack, and this team needs a playmaker. So come on, man.
I hear you on that. Terry, a lot of our fan base, this is from a Liverpool fan, a lot of our fan base arsenalized them. Sorry, Terry, a lot of our fan base Arsenalized, they seem to think we're Leicester. We've not got anything we deserve. It's on 55 FSG. Oh, 55 SSG, 45 Klopp. It's actually disgusting. I don't know what that Arsenalized means. I'm sorry. I'm misreading that, or am I just not getting it? Thank you for the super chat, though, my friend. Ajax won't sell, confirmed by the board. Ajax will sell for the right money, me old mate. Everything's for sale in this world.
Everyone has a price.
Terry, tell that Muppet below you that Melo is better than all of his midfielders. Remind the other one besides I said Liverpool midfield is dead food. I think he's talking about you, Tom. I think you were underneath me at that point, Tom. So he's saying you know nothing.
Yeah,
son.
It's not very hard to be. It's not hard to be better than Jordan Henderson and James Milner at this present moment in time. We've got a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old doing better than them. So
what's the nickname for them, Tom?
Milnerson.
Your microphone, Chaz, is cutting in now. I don't know if you're too far away from it or not. It might be too far away. There we go. That's better. That's better. I've seen Alvarez play. He has got grit and fight, which we miss, and also is good on both feet. Plus, he is tall and provides aerial protection, which is needed. Is what
we're not going to get it. Ajax are saying no, so
he's allowed to give that opinion. He likes him. Garner is technically brilliant, unlike Bruno and Scott. Listen, I get that. But what I'm going to say I've seen a few Man United fans today crying over it, and I wanted to see him play. But these are the same Man United fans who will literally sit on a camera and go, I back 100% Ten Hag, I back him. And then Garner goes, this is a disgrace. There's 1 minute that
Goldbridge impression.
And I weren't actually meant to be Goldbridge, it's someone else. And then I was about to do their voice and then realized it was going to cause a beef. But like from he does sound a bit like that. He gives me like when Goldbridge has got his character voice on, he sounds a bit like Bungle from Rainbow. He's a bit like, George. But yeah, it's like I get annoyed at this. It's like 1 minute the Glazers are to blame. So they'll blame the Glazers for like Ronaldo staying, but then Ten Hag for signing Casemiro. And there's no consistency to it. And I find it very interesting. Teta with more Paul than Klopp is what Corey AFC's got to say. This is true. Rejected by him today. Na Lang to Arsenal, last minute deal apparently. I don't know enough about that player, whoever he is.
Right back. I think he's a right back in. Does he play for? Is he a forward? I thought it was a Swedish player.
He's at Club Brugge.
Okay.
He's the player that got screamed at by Ten Hag. Remember that video going around of him screaming at a player in Dutch? That was him.
Okay.
He's not coming to Arsenal.
I think we're getting Aubameyang for now, so we can buy back Tammy next year with a clause in there. I don't think, mate.
Don't ever bring Tammy Abraham back to my godforsaken club. Don't ever do that. He's washed.
But David, so you'd rather have Havertz as striker?
Yes, 100%. Tammy Abraham.
David, you're mad.
Tammy Abraham, right, is playing in a league where Romelu Lukaku had the most dribbles completed in one season.
David, you cannot. No, David, you can't tell me you would rather have Havertz than Tammy Abraham.
I'm not having it. Tammy Abraham's trash. He's awful.
I swear he scored the same amount of goals he did in half a season as he has in Havertz in 3 seasons.
Look who he scored the goals against.
David, you can't tell me that you'd rather have Havertz.
It's not a striker. He's only a striker because Lukaku flopped.
No, but I asked you a question. Would you rather have Havertz or Tammy Abraham as a striker if you have to choose?
I'd rather play Havertz and not buy Tammy. That's what I'd rather do because that's the option we've got. That's the option we've got.
I hear you on that. I do. I'm going to do some more of these comments that are coming through. I don't want to miss all of these. Sold Lukaku for Aubameyang. That's an upgrade, mate, to be honest with you. HHTT isn't a clown. That's the thing. So I think that's you earlier. Not backing your manager, of course.
Sure.
Barca have sent an 80 million offer for Bernardo Silva.
It's not happening.
I don't think that one will happen.
No.
As a Milan fan, Juve are a death row for midfielders. The only midfielder that has a decent job is Locatelli. Zakaria will be a decent addition. Big up is what Zane believes. United fans celebrate that we dodged the Matty Longstaff bullet, who joined Sky Bet League 2 side Colchester. Ollie Folly. Now, I want to speak about that though, because I'm not going to put the tweets up because I decided not to cause a beef, right? And I get that Ollie wanted Longstaff, but I remember the same Man United fans. I found a tweet yesterday from a big Man United content creator after Haaland's hat-trick in the Champions League and then scoring against Liverpool, saying, I'm gutted he scored in the Champions League so much because it now means Ollie's going to want this dead baller. I read it and I was like, but people literally hated. And do you know what it was? They saw Haaland and thought he's definitely going to make Martial not play. So we've got to hate on him to hope like it doesn't happen. Yeah, anyone who didn't want Haaland, doesn't matter who your striker is right now in the world. Anyone who didn't want Haaland to replace him, he's a fool, because even like Kane and Lewandowski and Benzema, who are right now better, they haven't got the longevity that this kid's going to have in his leg. Like, the guy is a phenom. So Arsenal need a DM to fight for top 4, is what Jonah believes. Kaz, your lips are always flapping for Chelsea. We've spent over 200 million this year. Nobody excuses for you lot this year. All you ever do is waffle, is what.
And
DJ
you
said.
spent more, and you've lost twice, just like us this season. And what now?
Because you're always yapping.
No. You stick to your bootcut jeans, my brother.
Like a peacock.
You stick to your bootcut jeans, and my man over there can stick to his Kai Havertz over Tammy Abraham.
Yapping, man.
Go wear your other sunglasses inside, man.
They still make bootcut jeans. Do they still exist? I don't even know yet.
Yeah, my dad wears them. He's 50, 60 years old, mate.
In fairness, I just wear skinny jeans still. I think they're out of fashion now. I have no idea. Zakaria is Saul Niguez 2.0. Awful injury record is what Joshua Jack has got to say there. Thank you very, very much indeed. Remember, we are live tonight after Leicester City versus Manchester United, where we'll be reviewing that game and keeping you abreast of what's going on in the closing stages of the transfer window. Keep hitting those like and share buttons for us. And again, a big shout out to NordVPN, our sponsors today. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in our description or live comment section to sign up now on a brilliant 2-year plan with some brilliant discounts. And 4 months 3. We will give you a 30-day back money guarantee as well. And I know I'll keep talking about this. I won't stop talking about it. You should protect yourself when using the internet, your data from being harvested, yourself being hacked, passwords, PIN numbers, all that sort of thing. Protect yourself financially and the stresses that go with it as well. But there's also a lot of fun that you can have with the VPN provider. There are child protections, so to stop your kids from getting into the wrong kind of chat rooms, to stop your kids accessing kind of content or types of videos that you wouldn't want your children watching. In the secrecy settings, there's also a really, lads, I need you to listen to this about NordVPN as well. You have to bear with me with this one. Boys on the show and all the lads watching at home. So if you live at home with your parents and maybe your mum uses your tablet or you share a laptop with your wife, what you can do with the NordVPN is you may want to participate in some extracurriculum activities. You may, late at night, you might be finishing watching a TV show and think, fancy a bit of me time. I fancy a bit of self-therapy. And you might want to go onto a particular kind of website and watch a particular kind of movie. Adults only, over 18. But you don't want like somebody seeing your search engine history, jumping onto the laptop and seeing what you've been up to. So what the VPN with Nord allowed you to do is search the internet essentially in secret, so nobody knows what you've been up to give yourself a little bit of peace of mind and no embarrassing moments. Now, I know a lot of you lads will be like, Terry there has exposed himself. I know all of you writing that have gone, actually, that's a good idea. I'm signing up to Nord right now because I've been caught out a few times doing that. Whether it's my daughter going, what's this, daddy? Or the missus watching into your room, holding your laptop the following morning. So it's very good for stuff like that, gentlemen. So make sure you go and check. And you were saying lol, but it's true. Jordan's there like noted. That's true. It's true. Yeah, and I am keeping it PG because that's the most sensible thing to do. So make sure like buttons are being smashed. And by the way, ladies as well, because the ladies watch that also, but I'm just talking from a man's point of view, and 95% of our audience is men, but ladies as well. There we go. We have a super chat that's come through here. Where's it gone? I've lost it now. Did KJ star it for me? He did. Tammy left Chelsea, has a top scorer at Chelsea. This hatred towards him from some Chelsea fans is extremely ridiculous and weird.
David?
Hatred from David, yeah.
I'm not hating.
Who's a hater?
He's just not
David, you're a hater. It's fine. It's fine to be a hater.
Who else was really good when they left Chelsea? Oh, yeah, Conor Gallagher, and he came back. What happened? Oh, he's not very good. What happened? Everyone wanted Conor Gallagher in the team, so what?
Instead of panicking, wait till January for Alvarez, is what Emmanuel has got to say here. Thank you. Big up, Terry. You run a great channel. God bless everyone. Oh, yeah. Jessica Black equals superstar. Hashtag she knows Arsenal army. What about me? What about me?
Wait. I'm a superstar as well. Why? So how do you just single out one person? Why not me as well? I glow. So
You shine because you're bald. You don't glow.
Say you reflect.
I wouldn't say you're glowing, but
Yeah. But there we go. Guys, and of course, Jess, big game this weekend. Arsenal, Manchester United. Well, Man United versus Arsenal. How's it gonna go, Havho? What way is this game going, in your opinion?
Something tells me if you're a betting man, again, kids don't bet, you can run, you can be, it's like an addiction, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're a betting man and so forth, I think United get a win. I can see this is where Arsenal's run ends. I can see, because I'm stuck between 2-2 or United to get like a 2-1 win. I think Arsenal will definitely score, so it could be like a 2-1 win. But because again, remember, Invincibles, who was the team that stopped Arsenal's run? It was United, with Rooney and those four. So I do see United just being that storming block that just stops Arsenal's run. Similar before the United-Liverpool game, what we all said, oh my gosh, but Liverpool, 5, 6, 7 goals. It's just what United would. I think I can definitely see United somehow getting a win. So I'm going to be brave and different and go for a 2-1 win to United.
How about yourself, David, as a neutral to it?
As I said it last time you were in, Terry was not very happy when I said this. The world requires balance. And right now, Arsenal being so far ahead of everyone is not balanced. It's just not. It's not equating. So I believe that Man United are going to win 3-1. Arsenal have built up so much judge over the past 5 games that it's all going to get drained out in one game. And then Man United's going to beat them. I can just see it. If it wasn't for Emi Martinez match fixing yesterday, they would have drawn. The amount of games where you go if that deflection, this happens, or if that happens.
So what about all the chances that we had? We had more chances than that. You could
go
the other way and say,
Jess,
if Saka had made this or someone had made this.
I agree.
We were whooping them. It should have been way more.
I know, obviously, the chances of Man United scoring a corner are very low. It is very low. But I'm just talking about the judge that has been built up over the past 5 games to get you 5 clear. Yeah, it's all gonna get drained. Cool. And you don't win at United normally anyway. It's like a mental thing. So let's see if Arteta talking about love hearts holding hands works out this time. See if it works.
I think it all depends on if Ten Hag can get that reaction that he got for Liverpool against Arsenal, because the key reason I think was you outran us. You worked harder than us. If you can work harder than Arsenal, who right now are fully buying into the manager, fully supporting him, at their, on some great form, so the morale is even higher, they'll be more likely to run themselves into the ground. If you can do that, you've got a chance. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think there'll be a couple of poor performances, and I can only see this being like a 2-0 Arsenal, 3-0 Arsenal, something like that. Just with the form there on everything.
Jess, what are you saying? Confident?
I'm feeling confident that we're going to put in a good performance. When I look at Man United and the games that they've won, they played against Liverpool, who definitely weren't anywhere near their level. They weren't running hard. They weren't doing anything, really. And then they beat, who is it, Southampton, right? 1-0.
Yeah.
And it was solid, but it's not like Southampton are the best team in the world. I think we'll show up and we're going to run hard and work hard. So if Manchester United can match us work rate wise, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. What I'm looking forward to is hopefully, if you got I'm 33, so my whole Arsenal memory is about Manchester United Arsenal. And I kind of feel like if Ten Hag can tap into that, and Arteta will definitely tap into that, I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game. I think both teams are going to be up for it, and it's going to be a scrap. So I actually think it might be a draw. I think it's pretty close over the last couple of years when we played against each other. It hasn't really been not much in it, but both teams have added quality, and both teams have newish managers, new styles of play, definitely looking more positive. So I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. That's what I'm going with. I think it's going to be a lot of goals. I can see fouls, penalties, all kind of stuff. But I'm hoping it's a game full of passion, because I've missed that. I've missed the games where Arsenal and Manchester United were really going after each other. And I think we're quite evenly matched. I think we're deeper into what our manager is asking us to do. We're in the flow, but Manchester United have quality players that can hurt you. So, and they'll be at home at their spot. So 2-2 draw, tough game. And I would take a draw right now because that would keep us in unbeaten. Winning 5 on the trot was really important because now we can kind of go into that game and know that if we don't get all 3 points, it's not the end of the world. But God, I want to beat Manchester United so bad. I do feel like over the last couple of weeks, you've seen them peeking their heads out, start talking crap again, acting like they're blowing people away and stuff like that. Like, it would be nice to put it to them, but I think it's going to be close.
I know Kaz is doing a 12th man show, so I know he wants to rightfully as well hold back a little bit. I'm in this kind of mind. I did say before I give my ultimate prediction, I need to see us play tonight. I need to see us play tonight because we actually realize, if you play Southampton away in August and then you see them beat Chelsea at St Mary's in January, there's not always a correlation between, it was a good point for us, because teams' form changes. To play the same teams, to play them sort of 3 or 4 days apart, there isn't much change, generally speaking, in teams in that period of time, normally. So it was a good away win against Southampton. Obviously, we played brilliantly against Liverpool, considering, Liverpool beat us, 9, 10, 11-0, whatever it was on aggregate last year. If we put in a solid performance against Leicester, that aren't doing very well, by the way, outrun them, outwork them, maintain our shape, create chances and score, I will have an air of confidence going into this game that we could get a result. But I'll still make Arsenal favourites because I don't think this 5 games at the beginning of the season has been a fluke. I don't think this 5 games at the beginning of the season has been because they're playing rubbish teams. Palace ain't rubbish. As an example, they're just not. Fulham have had some good results. The only team I would look at and I would say are absolute dog is Bournemouth, right? And whatever else. And they've got the job done. And I think that, Arsenal, suddenly they're 5 from 5. They can go 6 from 6. And then you start looking at a team who everybody starts taking seriously. It is the first acid test. Arsenal are the favourites right now. But if we're very good tonight, then my mind might change slightly, But I agree with Jess. I want that passion. I want that rawness. What I actually want to see, we haven't seen this for years in a Man United Arsenal game, is both teams up for it and fighting hard, but with some good quality football being played. It's always been, you've had passion, but lack of quality from one or both teams. You've not had, or you've had good quality, but then neither team really fighting hard for it. We had the back end of last season where it was probably one of the most low quality games I've ever seen in my life from both sides, like making mistakes. That's what I don't want to see. I want it. Well, I don't mind seeing Arsenal play badly, actually. Like, I'd rather Arsenal play badly and we batter them, but it's going to be an interesting game. And I'm fearful of Arsenal. I did a video a few weeks ago on it. I think the biggest video ever done on YouTube, saying I'm scared of Arsenal. And I stand by it. I'm not looking forward to the game. They're dangerous. The speed Arsenal move at right now is ridiculous. The speed at which they win the ball back is ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm definitely fearful. There's no doubt about it. But hopefully they don't pull off Douglas Luiz tonight and they don't have any Party or El Neni, because that will be a real big advantage for us.
Maybe potentially.
Well. Sorry, Kez?
Maybe they have no Odegaard as well.
Arteta said that, Odegaard and White are probably fine. They felt little things and had to come out because, you don't want to aggravate injuries. But for sure, El Neni, Partey out. Zinchenko will probably come back in. But this is another thing. Like, our depth is not as bad as it was last season. So the only player that I'd be really worried about not being there is Odegaard. But for some reason, I feel like he'll be fine.
If Odegaard gets injured, who comes in?
Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh my God, I forgot he existed. Fell off the planet.
I mean, you shouldn't forget, because he always shows up against you guys, makes you guys look stupid. So
he shows up in the bigger games.
Yeah, but we got bigger fish to fry, innit? We got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, Southampton away isn't for everyone.
Yeah, like Champions Leagues.
Yeah, you're not bad. Yeah, you probably do well in there because your manager's a cup manager. So.
Oh no, what an awful manager, a cup manager. How dare he?
Doesn't mean he's gonna win it though, does it?
Yeah, is Ramsdale fit for it, or is he injured?
He looks alright.
He's fine.
That guy would fake his injury. He would not want to be injured for this game. That guy's a warrior, man. I don't get. He's like Ramsdale's a bit like Bruno. Like, makes all the hard stuff look. easy and all the easy stuff look hard. I just don't understand.
Ramsdale is a psycho.
He's a nutcase.
Like,
He's a nutcase.
yeah, he's a psycho.
I like him.
But I prefer him over Leno. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather
Yeah,
have that. But
he has a slightly less bozo gene than.
Am I saving my prediction for tomorrow then?
Save your prediction.
Yeah, you have to save it.
Save your prediction for the 12th, man. It's Kaz versus Igal, ladies and gentlemen. So we're recording that tomorrow afternoon. So when that drops, be ready. And we didn't want to do the preview for that game until after Man United play, because I do think tonight's game it will change slightly how everybody thinks about the game. United are really good tonight. Versus United get battered 4-0. it could change people.
Come on, Leicester.
Kaz, do us a favor with your microphone. I'm just going to mute you. Try unplugging it and plugging it back in. It's still cutting in and out. It might just be a connection issue, my friend. Rate Man United's transfer window. What we saying, people? How would you rate Man United's transfer window out of 10?
Like an 8. It's really good.
6.
In terms of quality, they probably had the best window out of all of us.
6.
7. I think I'll say 7. Cool 7.
I like the players that they brought in. I think they bring like a different vibe. Like you saw, like Malacia, the way that he plays, Lisandro Martinez. Like those aren't big names, but because Casemiro is going to be Casemiro no matter what. But I like the Lisandro Martinez and the Malacia signing because it's a different type of signing. It's not big name. So yeah, like I think that's good quality. Antony will probably do really well at Manchester United. So yeah, I think addressed quite a bit of like issues that they had. They still have probably an issue up front, but like, yeah, Ericsson, I keep forgetting that you guys brought him in. So yeah, like I think it's a good quality window for Manchester United. I think maybe if you had gotten De Jong, I would have been really, really worried then. But yeah, good solid window. I would give it an 8 in terms of quality. I think people are hating. It's a good window.
Actually, no, I lie. 7. I'll give them a 7, actually. No, Casemiro definitely helps that midfield a lot. So I'll give them
the whole Ronaldo situation's a little bit of a on it, because the fact that they haven't got that, we don't know what's going on. If he stays, what role he's going to play and all that. It's all a very weird situation. I think if they have clarified that earlier, I'd probably give it an 8, especially if the idea is that they were going to sell him and they were able to get him off the books and all that. I'd have probably given it an 8, but right now, all the players that they've brought in help that squad. They're all of a mould of that manager, which is what they need to do. They need to be manager signings, not club signings. They're all Ten Hag type signings. So it's clear that they're building a decent base. It's just whether they can continue to build off it. So yeah, I give it a 7.
Unmute your mic and then we'll hear.
Is my mic better now?
Hopefully.
Or is it? Hopefully. Can you not all hear me?
I hear you. Right? It was sometimes it was kind of doing this. You were talking like this, and then
it would cut out.
But you.
Is it? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Maybe it was facing me on my mic. The Blue Yeti. I'm not speaking into the actual. Is it better now?
Yeah, it seems better. Yeah.
My bad. Apologies on that one. I agree with Neeks as well, man. It's a 6. It can never be a 10 out of 10 window while you got Glazers in charge, man. Because you got to think about the window itself in terms of players. Great. But in terms of the business done, makes that go way down. The way you got to deduct that. It's a bit like Chelsea. Great players, but the business and overpayment for it makes it go down a little bit for me. It can never be a 10 window with Manchester United. We need more. We need a striker. You potentially need another right back, another centre mid, a goalkeeper. It can never be a 10 for me. Neeks' comment, I think it bangs the nail on the head at 6.5. If we get a Memphis, maybe it's a 7.5, 8. Depending on his wages as well, I would say it just depends on the business with alongside it for me as well. So I think it's a fair score, 6.5 currently.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I get what Neeks is saying. I think players, you could say 8, timing and some of the pricing slightly away from where you want it to be. And obviously, all these ratings are before we see it play. If we go on to have a really good season, it'll be looked at as a brilliant window. And that always happens. Every year, there'll be 2 or 3 clubs you go bad window and those players work out well. Arsenal fans did it to themselves last year. They all said, awful window. By the end of it, they were like, oh my God, wow, look at all the players we signed. And, I know Man United have had a few summers where we've gone, wow. The summer where we got Zlatan and Pogba and Mkhitaryan, we couldn't believe it. A few years ago, the way people were talking about Cavani and stuff and, mad and Cavani, what they're going to do. And it never worked out. So I'm remaining. And I think that's why people don't also rate Man United's windows, because we've had so many good windows on paper and failed to make it work. in the first team. Of course, there's that skepticism around what Man United do, but I'm happy overall with who we've bought. And I kind of look at it, I was going to be shameless. I thought, how can I make an argument and say we had the best window out there? And then I really thought about it. But I don't really mean that. I'm getting excited as a fan. City for me have had the best window. KJ broke it down brilliantly on this morning show. They've addressed every issue, but they've also added like Calvin Phillips, who's brilliant, and they've added the best young striker, like in terms of goals,
the best striker in the world.
Well, yeah, but no, let me just. I wasn't going to go that far because that causes too much debate. My claim was bigger. He is the best finisher that European football has seen since R9.
Yeah,
since R9, and R9 is the only player to have it's only a marginally better goal to game ratio at this age in European football. Messi and Ronaldo are better footballers than him, but in terms of finishing, this kid does something that we haven't seen since R9, and it's ridiculous. And if he stays injury free and hungry, and not hungry for eating too much or drinking too much, this kid's going to break records. City have had the best window for me, followed by Arsenal. I'd put Man United currently third on that list, though, in terms of out of all of the top 6 windows. I think it's better than Spurs. It's overrated. I think Chelsea, it depends what they pull off today. But Chelsea have had some of the same issues as us, like some deals that maybe a bit overpriced. So, they've paid more than over double the price of Cucurella as an example. So they've done that. There's a bit of panic to some of these last minute signings and planning and everything else. And there's reasons for it, but I'd probably go City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool would be my top 6 in terms of overall quality of.
Our one gets worse. We went for Dennis Zakaria last night and didn't get him, so we went for Arthur instead.
You tried to get
Zakaria last night.
Mm-hmm.
He's having his medical insurance, by the way. Just letting you know.
Oh, look. So Fabrizio just said that Chelsea are on the verge of reaching an agreement with Juve for Dennis Zakaria. So that's going to happen. I
like that. Everyone who's streaming DM can now see DM. So no one hear nothing. I still can't. Also, another thing that really, I wasn't here earlier on in the show, but the amount of people that have switched on Tuchel doesn't even shock me. I knew all of these fans saying he's amazing, I love him. They're all lying. All of them. They're all lying.
Explain.
Because quite a lot of them are like Lampard lovers. They love Lampard, and whoever came after Lampard was the Antichrist. And then he won a Champions League, and everyone was like, well, I can't really dislike him because he has actually just done something that only one other manager in our history has ever done. So I'll pretend to like him, but as soon as the time comes when I can say he's awful, I'm gonna say it.
I'm gonna say he's awful, yeah.
Yeah, and they just switch straight away. And then you just have some people who are Lukaku lovers. And Lukaku said that, oh yeah, system's bad, doesn't let me attack, doesn't let me flourish. And they were like, and then they saw him leave and they were like, okay, now I really don't like you. And now we've gone on a little bit of a bad run, lost Southampton. Oh, bloody hell, he's the worst manager in the world. Get him out. I want somebody else. Bloody blah. Play attacking football. DM this. And it's like, okay, fine. So
Chelsea can't really argue with Thomas Tuchel too much. That's why I don't really give him too much stick as well as a rival fan, because you ain't had no director of football, no system in place beforehand, new owners and everything. You know how difficult that must be as a manager to handle everything at once.
Him and Bowley have been doing transfers. If you were expecting a fully organized, on-time schedule of transfers, you were probably wrong. Because ultimately we were behind anyway, and we're having 2 people who aren't directors of football trying to do director of football. So yeah, but whatever. We move. As long as we get the right business done, I think we'll be fine. So nothing to worry about. For me.
So you're fully behind Tuchel then. Tuchel is the guy.
Yeah. I don't see a better option out there. I don't. The only person, if we sacked Tuchel tomorrow and it was like you can get somebody, the only person I'd consider is like Graham Potter.
Not Poch.
No, Poch can Poch can go down a drain and do whatever.
Leave the future England manager alone.
That's actually where I'd like to see Poch go. He's manage England.
Poch should go manage. We said Poch should go manage Aston Villa after Gerrard leaves or something. I don't know.
That's where Poch will end up.
Yeah, go do something like that. Everton, when Lampard gets signed. Do that.
But you're not worried as Chelsea fans that your season's going to like spiral out of control, are you? Sorry, I'm just editing something while I'm talking, so I kind of need you guys take the reins.
I have been positive. I still think we're going to come second. I can see what we're trying to do. We're just literally like a couple of players. I think it's been a massive personnel problem. Like you look at our matches and it's like everyone's shouting at Jorginho to do this and shouting at Pulisic to do that. Just do this. And it's like, yeah, but the players we currently have can't do those things. I think the players that we're signing are going to help us do those things. So yeah, and I think if we could get Alvarez through the door, I think that's like probably the best signing that we would have all window.
Well, you're very unlikely. Well, as it stands,
I mean, it's unlikely.
Oh, look, here we go. It's done. Zakaria is a Chelsea player. Here we go. It's over the line. It's finished.
So Zakaria's. But the thing with Alvarez is that Alvarez would allow us to play a back four, and then when we defend in a back three, because you can also play like centre back.
But you're not getting Alvarez. You just got Zakaria now.
I don't know.
They're two destroyers.
You're not buying. Like I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, I'd say you're not going to get both.
Okay,
because
fine. We'll get Zakaria. So cool, we've got Zakaria.
You've got your 7th, 8th choice. Player.
But if he's good, if he's a good player, he's a good player. It's not. I'm not too fussed about first choice, second choice, whatever.
Akiyoko 2.0.
But yeah, I was ready to clown. I was ready to clown about Zakaria, and now I can't because he was ahead of our option that we've got. I just love to know why we think only Juventus have midfielders that we can buy.
But just very quickly on it as well, just on that deal. So it's a loan deal. No word yet that I've read of an exclusive of any options to buy or anything along those lines. But this is exclusive for Fabrizio Romano news.
David Ornstein's confirmed there's an option.
Oh yeah, so there is an option to buy. Well, yeah, I mean that makes it slightly less. I mean, I just don't understand why you'd ever loan a player now without an option to buy that you control. Like, does that make sense? Because the last thing you'd ever want to do as a team is make a player good through developing him and getting him right, just for his parent team to go, we'll have him back, or for them to create a bidding war with other clubs and like make more money. But that's done. Chelsea signed Dennis Zakaria. Here we go. Over the line. I mean, that's crazy. Like we've been live for an hour and 45 minutes, and that wasn't even really a mention at the start, and then bang, it's over the line and done and everything else. So, but yeah,
I'm happy with it.
You suddenly look at again, Chelsea's timing ain't great, but Zakaria, I like Zakaria. I'm not going to say he's bad till we see him play in the Prem. I wanted him in January. I know he ain't been good at Juve, but we'll see how that kind of goes. But Zakaria comes in, Aubameyang's here. If they do pull off this Memphis deal, there's a lot of signings. You've got to make it integrate, but it's really, for me, it's really not a bad window. But there we go. Why does Lee Gunner put down players when they sign for us and hype the same ones when they sign for others? Is he really a fan? I get where you're coming from. I don't know about everything he says. On Aubameyang, he was someone that didn't want Aubameyang to leave. So he's not saying he's rubbish. Got to sell him. And oh my God, he's gonna haunt us. He kind of felt that he was mismanaged and should have stayed on Aubameyang. But I don't know if you're talking about anybody else. People forget Chelsea played a lot of games last year, getting to 2 cup finals, then sanctioned and players being in limbo. Bowley and TT are steadying the ship. It's a fair point. Terry, what is it with West Ham fans blowing bubbles and trying to act tough at the same time? Bizarre. I'm not answering that on the air because I have to park my car in that part of London every time I go to the studio, so I'm not speaking ill of Hammers. It's not happening on the terrace in any way, shape, or form. Kaz, where do you think United will finish?
5th. 5th. Yeah, 5th or 6th. I can't choose. Which one you choose. Not top 4.
There we go. Viewers, we are live after Leicester City versus Manchester United tonight. We are going to do a match reaction, but we'll see what's going on. There could be the biggest piece of transfer news ever that we have to go live with at the same time. It might be a massive result. We don't quite know, but we'll be live after that game no matter what. I want to say a big thank you to Jess, Kaz, David, Jan, of course, Have Hope and Tom Little for joining me today. To all of you that have tuned in, our members, our super chatters, thank you. So far, according to our QR code reader, 44 of you during this stream have clicked on the QR code above me to go and sign up to the NordVPN. Go and get that done. Protects your data, allows you to use the internet safely. There's so many things it allows you to do. There's kill switches. There's another thing it does as well. If your personal data gets taken and put onto like the black market, as it were, or the dark web, they call it, you get notifications about it. There's so many things it does. Go and protect yourself. There's also a lot of great and fun things as well. Like you can use it to go ad-free on YouTube for 89p per day per month instead of the $11.99 that YouTube charges you, and a lot more. You have to set, you set your VPN to say that you're in Argentina when you're using YouTube, and you can watch it ad-free. You can also download videos. So you might think, oh, look, it's an hour and a half podcast from the terrace. I ain't got an hour and a half. I'm not going on a train. Download it, listen to it on the train, just like it's Spotify or something. But the NordVPN enables that to happen. Have hope. You're a superstar, mate. I'm from Jess's channel. Sorry to hurt your feelings. You didn't. But thank you for the additional super chat, my friend. Everybody that has tuned in, a big thank you to each and every single one of you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you soon. Thank you. Hackers are getting more and more sophisticated each and every year. And if you're not careful, they're going to give you a miserable time on the internet. Are you doing everything you can to protect yourself online? NordVPN software allows me to safely browse the internet without being traced. NordVPN is now more than just a VPN provider. They have introduced threat protection, giving you even more comprehensive security against cyber threats. It blocks trackers, it stops malicious ads, and it steers you away from harmful websites and files. Enjoy a safer and more private internet. NordVPN will continue to hide your location, encrypt your data, and one account you sign up for can secure 6 devices. You can sign up to NordVPN now risk-free on a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Just go to nordvpn.com/football terrace and give yourself real peace of mind when online. What we can even do is give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So get yourself signed up now and enjoy the rest of the NordVPN Top 6 show.